All right, so everything worked great except for one thing. And when I turned the water on to the toilet, it just started spraying everywhere. So it turned out to be this. A simple fix, not very expensive. I ordered one, it'll be here in a few days. But for now, I'm gonna turn all the water on and get all the bleach water all out of the system. So I do have the gray water opened up right now, and like I say, I diverted it out of the lateral lines, and I've just got it running down here to run all that bleach water out. So we'll let that stuff just run down here until it runs out of bleach. And then what we're going to tackle next, after we get all that bleach out of the system, is I'm going to go ahead and finish hooking up the water softener and get this all buttoned up. So it won't be long. All right, I think I've got everything I need to put this water softener together and get the water over here connected properly. So it's going to go in between these two lines right here. I'll probably still put that valve on this side over here a little bit so I can continue to go ahead and shut off this stuff to the outside. But let's put the water softener together real quick. A little Teflon tape so it won't leak. And we will snug these down just before I think it's going to break. Not really, I'm just going to snug them down. All right, a little food grade silicone on the O-rings. This straight for a second. All right, that is not terrible. I am going to go ahead and put insulation, of course, all the way across here, across there. That'll encapsulate that wire so it'll be nicely tucked away. And then this, of course, this will have insulation all the way up to this point. None of, I don't really need to probably put insulation on any of this, because I'll probably blow all the water out of it when it's going to freeze here. And I might put a little small heater in this area right here where all the well stuff is. But at any rate, that's how I'm going to do that. So it looks good. All right, so it's in a backwash mode right now. It's about a 15-minute process. And while it's doing that, I'm going to explain what I did earlier. I put 2 40-pound bags of rock salt in here and 5 gallons of water. This is the brine line, and it gets hooked up to a float right down in here. And this is a drain line that goes out, the drain line that goes to the lateral line I have outside. This part right here is just a overflow line. In case this water for some reason gets in here to a certain point, it'll come out that overflow and dump out to the lateral line. So let's let it do its thing. Looks like we got 12 minutes left. All right, so it finished doing its thing, and it filled this tank up with some water. You can see it's about halfway full. And evidently what this is doing is it took some of that brine solution, initially the 5 gallons, it runs it through the beads that are in here, and it attaches itself to these beads, and it rinses, and then it refills this tank back up. 1,000 gallons is what it'll do. So I still need to set the time on this and everything, whatever it says in the instructions. But so now that we got this thing all squared away, got the fresh, clean, soft water all done, let's go put the filters, cartridges in the filters in the basement of that of the trailer. This pre-filter is a 5-micron filter. There was quite a bit of sediment in both of these canisters. I sure doesn't feel like it's got an O-ring on it. Ooh. It doesn't. When I emptied that out, it fell out on the ground. Looks good. All right, so the last thing before I drink this water, I've got a little test kit here, and we're going to test to see what's in that water, see if it's good enough for me to drink. So let's try that real quick. Dip the test strip for 2 seconds and remove. Gently shake off and takes water from test strip. Compare test pads to the color chart. Okay. One, two. Shake off water. Right. Top one's pH very low. It looks like 6.0. Hardness is just blue. It's 0 to 25 parts per million. Hydrogen sulfide, how about that? That's the third one down. It's white, 0. Iron, 0. Copper, 0, 0. Total alkalinity is greenish. That's probably 120 parts per million. Like in the middle of the scale, roughly. Okay, well, shit, that looks good. Bacteria test for water. What's the directions on this? Wash hands with soap and water. Adjust the water flow to a slow stream after 48 hours. Okay. All right, 48 hours on that one. All right, so we have got a new toilet seat on here. That was kind of hard to get to, but that turned out good. And then the new valve, you can see putting it in here, it's not too difficult to get to. It just pops into place here, a couple of screws, and then you hook the lines up right here. No problem at all. And it seems like it works good. Turn the water on, there's no leaks. And of course you push the lever down, push it down part of the way and you can fill it up. And then the sprayer here, not sure what it's for, probably just to clean out, I suppose. But it doesn't operate, of course, until you push the lever a little bit and then it sprays. So that's going to be pretty handy having this working, isn't it? Alright, good, that worked. Next on the agenda, now that we've got the water kind of working pretty good, I'm going to go ahead and run the wire for the circuits over here on this wall. Plus, that's going to be a light circuit that goes to a switch on that end. And I'll pull on those circuits right now. This is the light circuit, and I need it to go all the way to the end down by the light switch. And this for the outlets, I can go ahead and cut it, but I want to pull a little bit out here. That's a tight fit there. Better look at that. That's going to be tough to fit in that box because this is in the way on the inside. You see, that switch is hitting here. Maybe a box extender for this first one. Alright, so we got power coming into the GFCI and the neutral going into it, and then the neutral going out to both circuits, the light and the outlets, and then power coming out of the bottom of the GFCI going to the lights, the load on the lights and the outlets right here. So that should work good. Let's test it out and see. That'll work. Beautiful. Lights on. Perfect. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 J boxes I need to go ahead and put outlets in. I do have 4 of the 20 amp outlets, but these last 3 are going to be 15 amperes. And you know, probably for the most part, what's going to be here is charging my batteries on my Milwaukee for the most part. The days of us plugging in a big old heavy drill over here and hammering on something are really gone. But these first 3 will be 20 amperes if I needed to plug something in to take outside. For instance, like this remote little outlet I got here. I could plug it in here and 20 amp all day long. So let's put all these together and then we'll throw them in there. All right, well that was quite the job. Really, it's not very hard, but it's just a lot of wires, and I've got to do that 4 more times. You've got power coming in here, your grounds together, and this loops over and feeds the power to this one, and then this is going to come off and go feed the next set of outlets. So let's put 4 of those together real quick. I got a cattywampus. Let's look in here. Probably the same problem as that other one over there. Yeah, that's getting in the way right here. I don't think I have enough of these spacers. Let me look. Yeah, that'll work like that. I'll just turn them sideways. It's not very pretty, but that'll work. I'll be more careful on those other ones for sure. Ugh. Well, hello folks, we're back out here to try to see if we can figure out how to bypass some of this plumbing. So, like in the old other video there, I mentioned about the holding tank on this thing leaking. And I did this last week to see if I can get that insulation to dry out, because it was just pouring out of there. And after studying this just a hair, I was able to see way down here in the dark, deep hole that there was a opening valve to drain that fresh water tank. And here's the pump for it right here, and it all goes through this little valve right here. And I'm thinking that this has got a little check valve so water pressure can't go backwards within that electric pump and fill the tank up, and I suspect that's what it's doing. Either that or selector valve was allowing it to fill up without me asking for it to. So I drained that, holding 100 gallons out of there, or whatever it was, 50 or 100 gallons. I drained all that out, and I think I came up with a plan where the hose hooks up on the outside. It comes through here, it comes up here through the filters back into that valve. And what I want to do is I want to take it off the valve here, so there is not going to be any selection. And initially I was thinking all I have to do is come with this fresh output and come right into this manifold assembly, and I can just feed the whole trailer. I wasn't taking into consideration that I need to get water to the hot water tank as well. So this is the input right here, and I will need to tee off of that to come in here and go to the hot water tank, which is way back in here, which is right there. So I'll need to cut this here, and that feeds the hot water tank. And then up in here there's two red lines that I need to connect together off the top of that water heater, so I can feed this line up here with hot water, and that feeds this manifold right here. So let's get busy on that. So this is the output going to the manifold. So we'll cut this off since it won't come off. Can't reach it. There it is. It's gonna leak a bunch of water in it. I thought the heater was drained, and it was not. All right, while I'm letting this hot water tank drain, I do want to put a little cutoff valve right here on this input, so that way I can shut the water off to the whole trailer if I need to. And when I want to change these filters, I can do that right there. So let's cut it in. Okay, that'll work there. Now here's the hot water output from the tank that goes into the manifold here. So I need to cut these two so that I can splice them together. All right, so I got that hooked up. Thought I had the camera going, but I didn't. So this is just splicing these 2 3/8 lines together for the input into the manifold for hot water that's coming out of the top of the tank. And I didn't have a 3/8 3/8. Those are super difficult to find locally. I ordered them on Amazon last week. They delayed shipping and was not able to get them in time to do this today. So I did have these 3/8 to 1/2 inch adapters, put two of them together, and that gets me here. A little ugly, but it'll work. Now we just need to go ahead and tie in the input on the hot water tank down here, and we'll tie that in off of this line, the output line that comes over here, which comes into this. So let's get started on that. I wonder why they use this type of hose for the hot water connected to tanks. Surely it's not just so it can be more flexible. Don't know why. Maybe y'all do. See, that's 1/2 inch to 3/8. And I think I use the only two adapters I have up there on top. Boy, that is a pain. I was able to heat up this 3/8 and stretch it over this 1/2 inch T. All right, input hose to the water tank, hot water tank. I think I'm good on all this. I'm going to put a pair of pliers on all of these little connectors here, even though I got them as tight as I think they'll go. And then double check the ones on the hot water tank up there themselves. And I've got this shut off so I can turn the water on to the trailer and then slowly turn this on and look and see if I have any leaks anywhere. Let's try that. Oh, big time leak. That's just not going to work, will it? I tried to use a 1/2 inch crimp over this smaller line, and I figured that Milwaukee would get that tight enough, and it's not. All right, let me step back and punt here because I don't have what I need again. All right, so we're back at this. I think I have what I need to fix this, going from 1/2 inch to 3/8 here, and I'll have to splice that in here, cut this off a little bit. And I think that's all that I need to get the water turned on. So let's put this piece in here real quick. Sink on, hot and cold. All right, it doesn't look like we have any leaks there in the plumbing. All right, we got hot and cold, all the air out of it. Perfect. So that's the hot water side right there. It's purging all that air out. All right, so that all looks good. I'll keep an eye on that for any leaks. Every time I leave, I'm probably going to shut off water supply to this anyway, but that's done.